For the final part of this tutorial series, we'll be running a calculation and having a look at the results screen. Because there's a lot to cover here, we'll break this down into two videos covering the results. Once you've entered in all your design inputs, navigate to the project summary screen. Here we can see that all the inputs we have entered are valid, so we are ready to run the calculation. Hit the Calculate button here. Depending on the size of your project, this could take anywhere from just a few seconds to several minutes for larger projects. Now there are a lot of different results displayed here, so I'll mainly focus on what is typically most useful and commonly used. When the calculation is finished, the comment section of the Project Results tab will be displayed. This is the first thing you should read, as it displays any warnings or errors that have come up during the calculation process, and may flag specific areas of the results that you should review in particular. It's also a good idea to have a quick look at the project details screen. Here you can check that you have the correct project location, and there's also a sense check on your total floor area, as well as the area served by both the chiller and preconditioning units. From here, I would recommend looking at the AHU Summary Cooling section. This displays a summary table of all your AHUs, the calculated supply air and outdoor air requirements, calculated capacity requirements, and coil entering and leaving temperatures. These are the key inputs that you will typically use in your equipment selection. The next useful screen to review is the Cooling Check Figures and Heating section, which shows the watts per meter squared, air changes per hour, and liters per second per meter squared for all the areas served by each AHU. This can help you identify areas that you may want to review in further detail, say if any of these figures are significantly higher or lower than you expected. The heating results are also displayed on this screen. The next key section to review is the chiller, boiler and circuit screen, if you opted to use this in your project. This is where the peak loads for your chiller and boiler will be displayed. The other sections of this screen are mainly just to help with reviewing your input data, so we'll skip over these for now. The other results tabs allow you to review different aspects of the calculation in further detail. Where you go to next could be driven by what you've seen on the project's results screens. For example, if one of your AHUs has a particularly high heating or cooling load, you may wish to investigate further as to why this is the case. The Load Charts tab breaks down the individual loads in each room. The section at the top shows your solar heat gain through your windows. The next section shows your solar and transmission gains through your walls and roofs, and the final table here shows your transmission gains through your glass. So you can see that this window number 1 has a 9.3 kilowatt solar gain, as well as a 2.9 kilowatt transmission gain. As this is quite high, if you need to reduce the load for this room, you could, for example, look to reduce the window area or use glazing with better thermal performance values. Down the bottom, heat gains from people, lighting and equipment are shown, as well as any supply duct gains specific to the room. These loads are broken down into their sensible and latent components. The breakdown of your loads in heating mode is shown in the second section here, including walls and roofs, windows, partitions and infiltration loads. Under the AHU's Results tab, you will see more detail for the loads at an AHU level. On the cooling load chart, you'll see the adjusted room sensible and adjusted room latent heat here, taken at the time of the peak AHU load. If you have a draw-through supply fan, the loads for that will also be added here to give the adjusted total heat. Any other gains and return air gains are also shown, and everything is added up to give you the cooling grand total heat. This can be broken down into total sensible heat and total latent heat. These are the same values that are displayed in the AHU Summary Cooling Results table. The cooling psychrometrics section gives you some more information around the temperatures at each part of the process, as well as the bypass factor. The heating psychrometrics and load chart gives you a breakdown of the heating load components for the AHU, as well as the temperatures in each stage of the heating process. The other section you may wish to check is the outside air summary, where you can see how much outdoor air is going to each room to check for compliance. Finally, we have the Zones and Rooms tab, where you can review the total loads and check figures broken down by air conditioning zone. These can be particularly useful if you have multi-zone AHUs serving a number of different rooms per zone. That's all for this video. Please join me in the next one, which will be the final video in this series, and will cover the remaining tabs of the results screen, including the graphs and how to print and export your results. Bye for now.